We welcome Zohar Avigdori, relative of Israeli hostage Tal Shoham and 6 released hostages. Thank you, Zohar, so much for speaking to us. We so appreciate you being with us on this day. 6 of your relatives are home. Tal is still in captivity. What are your thoughts on the reports that Israel has proposed some kind of deal in which fighting will be paused for 2 months and hostages will be freed in 2 stages? How do you feel? What is your reaction to that report?
Well, first of all, we congratulate and welcome every initiative, every type of deal from any side. And by now, I have to say also that we have learned to keep our optimism down until there is something that's more concrete on the table. It's very, very exhausting to be in this situation for over 100 days already. And by now, I think I speak for all of the families when I say that we are worn down completely, and we have very, very little stamina. And we're trying to keep optimism to a level in which if we are disappointed eventually, it won't break us down completely.
One cannot imagine what all the families have been going through, the agonizing wait. In some cases, families have come home. In other cases, it hasn't happened. And in your case, you've had some relatives home. Tal still isn't.
And in some cases, people got the message that their loved ones are already gone. People who got in to the Gaza Strip alive and have since then perished there, which we had a chance to save and we didn't.
And in some cases, as you well know, videos have been sent, psychological warfare, Hamas playing with the families as well, misrepresentation of what is going on. It's all devastating and it's all heartbreaking. I know that the families interrupted a meeting in Parliament on Monday. What kind of response did you get from being there? What was your sense? Were your voices, your calls being heard in Jerusalem?
Look, I think the one reaction that we got was silence in the empathetic expression of the sense. And we keep hearing from government officials, from Knesset members, that they are with us. You know, you go into the Knesset and you have all this media on and photos of the hostages and everything. But right now, at this point, when immediate and urgent danger is at the lives of all the hostages that are still there, and with the sand clock ending pretty much, and with some of them already dead, we need more than empathetic looks, and we need more than empathetic videos. We need action. We need this government to do whatever it can immediately to bring the release of the hostages. Their time is up. There is literally no more ability to wait for them. We're in this Russian roulette where we don't know who's going to be next that's going to get the news of their loved one passing. So we need actions, and even if the response was respectful, at this point, we need much more than that.
Are you getting feedback? Are you being updated? For example, we know the Red Cross never got to any of the hostages in the past 109 days, but there was a glimmer of hope. One wouldn't want to be too optimistic, but there was a sense that potentially some medicines might get to some of the hostages. Again, no verification process, no proof of life. So what are you hearing?
Yeah, you're asking it exactly the way it is. Some medications might reach the hostages. We don't know. Just from you phrasing the question, how much uncertainty, anxiety, and fear are in this wording. So you can imagine the way that we are. And needless to say, we had 0 updates on the medications, while, again, humanitarian aid that might be very well needed in the Gaza Strip is flowing in. However, nothing is coming from the other side.
And what do you make of that? And what is the sense from the families about that? Humanitarian aid is getting to civilians inside Gaza right now, but there's no update and no confirmation about what food, if any, is being given to the hostages. We don't know anything about the conditions they're being held under, except from those who've come home, and those who've come home have shared the most harrowing stories, as you well know.
Exactly, and it's aggravating. And we are demanding that the government will do whatever it can to release them, including paying heavy prices. We know that the public stands with us, and we all know what the meaning of this kind of a deal will be. So we are crying, we're doing whatever we can, and we're asking the public to support us for these people that are running this crisis to end it immediately. They have creative minds on their sides. They're able to think outside the box. They're able to bring creative solutions. They're able to speed things up as much as possible from our side. And we're demanding them to do everything, to do all of it. Otherwise, and we keep saying that, it's not just our story. It's the contract between the Israeli government and its citizens, between the state and the citizens. And if we're not bringing these people over in the best shape possible, and if we're not doing every possible thing that we can, what does that say to the other 9 million citizens who are here about the ability of Israel to do whatever it can to defend them?
And what can you share about international pressure? Many of the people being held hostage have dual citizenship with other countries as well. We know the US has been involved on some level, other nations as well, potentially behind the scenes. What is your understanding of the impact of international pressure on securing the release of all the hostages?
Our understanding is that we have close friends in more and less expected places, and that these friends are doing a lot, pretty much whatever they can to bring the end of this crisis. And we are working on that as well, especially the people, the families that have dual citizenship. And it's the other government's direct responsibility also to take care of the release of their citizens. And at the same time, we cannot, I'm speaking to you from Jerusalem, outside of the prime minister's home. And the reason we're doing it is that because he is the address and our government is the address. We elected them. We were abandoned by them. And the little bit of tikkun, of clarification, of repairing that they can do starts with bringing these people back. They're in charge of us, and we count on them. And again, we accept, and we're not against them personally. And again, we congratulate and we appreciate any Israeli initiative, and we're hoping for them to be as many and as quickly as possible.
You've been quoted saying the contract between Israel and its citizens was shattered on the 7th of October, and it's going to take decades to repair. If you had a microphone directly to the decision makers right now, what is the message you would share on behalf of the families of the hostages and the whole nation, as you have so eloquently outlined? Everyone in this country needs to feel safe again. What would you want to say?
I would want to say that the people of Israel are behind us in supporting paying heavy prices. It's not going to be easy. It's going to demand a lot of compromise, and it's definitely going to demand altering the image of victory that you have portrayed in the first phase of the war. But what we'll achieve is the proof to us, to everyone here in Israel and the world, that the values of the state of Israel, the values that it was founded on, of solidarity, of the sanctity of human life, that these values prevail and are standing strong. And this will be the first step in repairing what was broken.
Zohar Avigdori, the nation is with you, hoping for good news about Tal and all the hostages. Thank you so much for speaking to us from
in our
Jerusalem.
Tent outside the Prime Minister's office, house on Gaza Street in Jerusalem. Come support us. We need you to stand with us here.